Alright, what's up everyone, I'm Rosic, and this will be the next work in progress on Rhino. Today we're going to work on the gray his skin. So first thing I did, just this off camera, I just brushed on a coat of the Deco Art slate gray, just kind of a light gray, and we're going to do a lot of airbrushing. So actually I need to go turn that on real quick, 1 second. So for this, I'm going to be using a bunch of the semi-transparent gray set from GarageKits.us. So I've got the whole line here. I'm using the warm gray set, which actually isn't very warm, but it's warmer than the cool set. So it's 7 tones, if you don't include the black. But it goes from semi-transparent 1 all the way to 7, 7 being the darkest. I've got some transparent black green, transparent black, transparent smoke, and a bunch of washes, Vallejo washes in the background there. So we're gonna do a lot of thin layers here because the reference I have is we're gonna go for kind of try to get a realistic looking skin to him. I've also noticed, you can also notice I've slowly putted off his face. So that's where we are here. So let me get an airbrush going here, and again we're gonna play till I get the effect I want. So I think what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna hit the shadows with this semi-transparent number 7. I'm gonna start again kind of dark to light. So just spray this straight out of the air, straight out of the pot or the bottle, I guess. And we're gonna go and hit all the shadows. So I'll do some of this on camera and then some of it off. But this is semi-transparent, so it's pretty thin. There's a lot of details in the skin here, so we're going to hit all these folds. And he does have some muscle definition, not a lot. He's a pretty pudgy dude. Anywhere I see a little definition in the muscle tone, muscle shape, I'll hit that. Armpits get hit pretty hard because it's recessed. Again, I'll do some of this on camera. I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera because this will take a while, but just to give you a sense of what I'm going to do. Now, one thing when you do a figure like this and they got the arms attached, it's hard to get up under there sometimes, so that's like one of the harder areas to get. So that'll probably maybe get just taken care of with washes. I'm gonna do some washes later too, because he's just not gray. He's got some yellow tones and some green tones and a bunch of different tones on the skin, so we're just not doing all grays. We're gonna add a bunch of different colors to him to get some life to it. There's a big muscle here we're going to back off and make it a little softer. And if it's a tight shape, we're getting tighter. So just kind of build it up on little areas, just kind of go over it several times. Try to do it in one pass. I didn't seal this gray paint before I started doing this, so I'm not doing any kind of brush work yet. So I'm just spraying around top of the craft paint. It dries to a nice flat finish. Alright, so I think you get the idea. I'm going to go around and do that to everything, and then when I'm done I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Alright, so that took about 45 minutes to an hour, and this is looking really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go seal this really well with my Krylon matte. It's looking a little stripy, and I think I'm going to do a wash after that to kind of bring out all the wrinkles and stuff. And then we'll seal that, and then we'll go in and add some mid-tone highlights. And then I may start airbrushing on some of these washes. So this is looking really good right now for the shadows. I'm seeing a few little details here in the belly that I kind of missed, a couple shapes. So I'm going to kind of back off here and run out the belly a little bit. Just like that. So I'm going to go seal this and then we'll do a wash on it. Okay, so seal the Krylon matte. I'll let it dry for a few minutes, and I'm going with Vallejo model wash. This is dark gray. Or this is just called gray, and I'm just kind of putting this on here really liberally. I can't say it. I'm putting a lot on, and we're gonna let this kind of soak into the surface and get in all those cracks and crevices of the skin, and let this dry really well, and then we'll seal it again, and then I'll start going in and adding some highlights and stuff. But this is really watery stuff. This is a true wash. It's a water based, so it's not going to eat through anything. So this is just going to kind of get in all the wrinkles and stuff of the skin. Bring out those details. And you can notice I'm not blotting it off. I'm just going to put it on evenly. But this is very thin, so I may do it twice. We'll see what it looks like. And it's going to darken everything a little bit. But that's alright. Oops. What I don't want is any drips or runs or anything like that, because those will show up. So hopefully this will bring out some of the details in the skin and stuff. Whoops, I just spilled it everywhere. Alright, so I'm going to do this, and we'll let it dry for a little bit. I'll seal it, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I went and sealed that, and the wash, basically what all it did is basically just kind of even things out a little bit. It really didn't bring out the wrinkles too much, so I may have to do that a little bit later in this process. But I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to go in and add some highlights. So I'm going to do that with a semi-transparent number 5. Let's see what 5 looks like. This may be a little bright. This is a cool 5, a cool number 5. So it's got a little blue in it. Kind of like that. And then I may tone it down with number 6. So I'm going to come in here Number 5, I'm going to thin this out a little bit. A little retarder, just so it's hopefully flows better and I get less dry tip. I'm going to take the needle guard off. And I need the billet getting here pretty tight. And notice I got some saran wrap on the base there. That's just basically to keep the buildup of dry spray off of that as I hold this. All right, so this is semi-transparent cool gray number 5 from GarageKits.us. I'm just gonna go in here and hit all the tops of the wrinkles and stuff. And it'll be a lot of back and forth. I'll probably go back in later with some pastels and hit the shadows again. But I'll do a little bit of this on camera and then the rest off, because again, this will be a slow process. There's a lot of great detail in the sculpt, so it just takes a while. You can do it building up slowly. With this semi-transparent, you just can't lay it on it. It'll pool, and especially with it being thinned out, as much as I have it thinned out, it'll pool pretty quick. That's looking pretty good. I like this cool gray on top of this. It looks good. Because what I'll probably do is go back and mist over a mid-tone on top of all this, a warmer tone, and then it'll be a nice kind of contrast. So I'm just gonna do this, and we'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so we're looking good. So that's after doing the transparent number 5 cool gray. Now I'm gonna go in one more level with the highlight. And I'm gonna go in with, I'm gonna bump it up a couple levels, back to a warm gray. And I think I'm gonna do number 3. Or maybe I'll do number 2. Number 2 is pretty bright. But then I'm gonna knock it all back down. With probably warm gray number 6. So I'm bringing it up and we're going to bring it down. So this is cool gray number 2. This is pretty bright. Sorry, warm gray number 2. I'm just gonna hit the really the high parts of everything. Again, I'll do some of this on camera and the rest I'll do off. Just like the top of the head. Oops, I just got a splatter. I don't want to splatter. The hard part is keeping the dry tip down so I can select the top of the head. I'm going to back off quite a bit. The top of the head. Top of these wrinkles. I get them pretty tight. And I'll have to go back and hit the shadows, but I'll do that with pastels. I like to hit the wrinkles first and then hit any muscles, because that way the wrinkles just get one more level of brightness to them. I did not seal this before going on to this color. There's no need to, because I'm not doing anything that's going to affect the bottom layer as far as if I need to clean anything up. I'm going to do all the wrinkles first, and then I'll go back and hit the tops of the muscles, all those highlights. So I did talk to Troy about doing this in quarter scale, and he'll do it. But the sculpt is $6,000. I'm like, I can't do that. So if anyone's got $6,000, Troy will sculpt this in quarter scale. Not denying that is not worth it. I think if you did this in quarter scale, and then you offered it as a kit, maybe do like you do like 10 painted pieces. It'd be something where, like, if I did something like that, I'd be the one that painted them all. So I'm not sure what people would be willing to pay for that, to be honest. Maybe that's a question I can put out in the groups. This is starting to look really good. This part doesn't take quite as long because as you start tightening it up, there's less areas to cover. It's that initial kind of adding the shadows and getting those established. And the way I paint is I'm pretty loose. You can see here I'm doing this pretty loosely. Unless it's a really tight wrinkle where I get in there with both hands to really steady my airbrush. I'm a pretty loose painter. I think this gives it a more natural look. Kind of lets everything kind of blend together and flow. That's just kind of how I paint. That way, you know, stuff doesn't look drawn on. It's really easy to, if you get too tight with everything, then muscles and details look drawn on and not painted, or they don't look natural, in my opinion. You guys can see what I'm doing. I may come in with one more level, right? I think make them with semi-transparent pure white. Since these are semi-transparent, you're going to see all the other colors underneath it. And the semi-transparent, well, pure white, I think is what I need to do in order to knock this down to where I want. So I think I'll do that. Okay, so I pretty much hit all the wrinkles. I'm going to come in I'm going to back off quite a bit. I'm going to hit all the muscles real light. I'm backed off quite a bit, and I'm barely missing this on. This is kind of help blend things together a little bit. Yeah, it's looking really good. There's some imperfections in the paint from that initial base coat I had. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure I like that, but it actually just adds kind of to the look of real rhino skin. I mean, it looks good. I was kind of freaking out about it, but I think it looks good. Again, I'm just real lightly hitting some of the muscles and stuff here. going to go back at the very end. I think and selectively kind of bring out some of the wrinkles and stuff in the sculpt. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm going to go one more level of brightness. And maybe I just add to this. I'm just going to add to this. I'm going to add just to the number 2. Actually, I'll go in with number 1 instead of, well, let's do pure white. Okay, this is pure white. Gonna add a little bit to that, and a little bit of retarder. And then we're gonna kind of do what we just did again. Come on. Where's the hole? Oh, I'm trying to find it. Oh. Helps that throw on the base right. Okay. This is semi-transparent pure white. Ah, crap. Just got a splatter. I cleaned it up right away, so no big deal. And again, we're gonna hit the top of the head, real light. This is pretty thin. And we're gonna darken them all. We're gonna darken the whole thing down just a little bit once we get done with this step. It's a little bright overall, but that's okay. Yeah, we're going back and forth, darken, lighten, darken, lighten. You got a little heavy there, it's alright. This is very thin, so even though it's pure white, it's going to dry down quite a bit. I'm going to hit the tops of the muscles just a little bit. Really just want to hit the wrinkles more than anything. So here on this arm, you can see where you hit it with the white. This side we have not, so you can tell the difference. It's subtle, but it's there. Back up. Hit the belly pretty good. The butt. Calves. All right, so I'm going to continue this, and then I'm going to come back and we'll bring it all down a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some transparent, semi-transparent warm gray number 6. I'm going to super lightly mist this on, just to bring it down just a little bit. Kind of help blend in everything in a little bit. I don't want to put in a lot because I don't want to lose all my highlighting. And this should really establish my midtones right here, doing this. And then once I'm done with this, I'll seal this. And I'll probably go back in and hit the shadows a little bit with some pastels. And then, actually what I'll do is I'll do some, I'll probably airbrush, I'll seal this and I'll airbrush on some washes, some of these different yellows and different washes in some select areas according to my reference. Real light, just doing this up very slowly. If I need to go back and hit a spot, if I can. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Put this on backwards. Come on. I think that's looking pretty good. Yeah, so what I want to do is after I seal this and this dries, I'm going to go in with some pastels and bring up the shadows a little bit more, but that's kind of where I want him overall. So a lot of work just to get to this point. Like this right here, and the arms look really awesome. The arms look fantastic. They're like right where I want them to be. But I think I need to bring out the shadows a little bit more. I think I may have blended the back a little too much. Let's see. I think it's okay. Once I go in there with the pastels and darken the shadows, we'll be good. All right, so let's go seal this, and then we'll come back. Okay, so what I've got in my cup here, I mixed up my own color of pastels. I got some graveyard dirt and some black smoke. I kind of mix those together, so I got this kind of nice grayish brown tone. And I'm going in here and I'm just kind of hitting the shadows again to kind of bring those back, and this will give us a nice kind of brown tone. So as I usually do is I add some, and I got a nice soft brush here to kind of blend it out, avoiding the highlights and stuff. So I'm going to do this all around the piece, and that should get us our gray basically right where I want it to be. So right here in this back is like looking really awesome. So add a little bit with the little sharp chisel brush, and then I go back on the soft brush and blend it out. Blow away the excess and dab. And if I want to fade it up, I just take the bristles and I go up the side of the muscle a little bit. Just like that. But I like these little chisel brushes. I can go in here and really kind of get very selective of where I put them. So like between these two wrinkles is a perfect example. And I can take this chisel brush and blend it out. So I love pastels because I have a lot of control over where I put things. So I'm going to do that on everything. And then we'll come back and take a look after I seal it. And we'll go from there. So some of the other tones that I was looking at, the yellows and stuff, are kind of on the knuckles and everything. So I'll probably do that with, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it with pastels. Maybe I'll do it with, I'll airbrush some of those washes on. We'll see. But I want to get these kind of shadows established again. Because I got a little, taken out a little bit with all my airbrushing, but it's no big deal. Again, this is kind of how I work. I go a lot of back and forth. I got a little too much right there, unfortunately. I can take some off. But yeah, so I'm going to go do this on everything and we'll come back. Okay, so this is looking really, really good so far. So what we're going to do next, we're going to base coat the horns. And I'm going to do those in a... I'm going to do these like in a natural bone. I need to look at what rhino horns look like. Hold on one second. I gotta Google this. Rhino horn. See what color they are. Well, they're kind of gray, along with the rest of the rhino. But I want to, yeah, I think what I'll do is, I think I'll just base coat this. Yeah, let's go ahead and just kind of do it like that. I know what I'm gonna do. This is just me thinking out loud. I should have just sprayed them when I did the rest of them, but I wasn't thinking. So I'm just gonna get a brush and base coat these real quick with the number 6 semi-transparent gray, and then I'll dry brush some tones on them. Do some just kind of doing this dirty right now, and then we'll make them look pretty here in a second. Well, not pretty, but better. I should have actually done these a darker tone and then dry brushed them. I may go back and do that here in a second. Let me see. Yeah, I may go back with one tone darker. That way I can dry brush these and bring out the details. I may do some dry brushing on this guy a little bit. This is looking really good. I mean, this looks, I'm super happy with the way those pastels turned out. And for his eyes, I'm just going to do them like a really dark brown. Gloss over them on the rhino part of them. Okay, I'll let that dry. I had the hell of a time getting that thing in the base. I'm going to clean out my brush real quick. And I'm going to start airbrushing on, while that dries, some of these washes. So like these Vallejo washes, they're basically very thin down, watery tones. And I don't want to brush it on. I want to kind of airbrush these on a little bit. I just found out that Windex cleans up Jesse's paints extremely well. So Windex is my new cleaner for Jesse's paints because it cleans them out. Super awesome. I never knew that. Okay. So this reference I have that I've been looking at. You know, when I look at a reference, it's not to copy the paint job, it's a guide. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some of these washes. I got the gray established right where I want it. It looks freaking amazing. And now I'm going to start tinting some of these areas with these washes. So I got some, this is dark yellow, but it looks a little green to me. Oh yeah, so I got this kind of yellowish color. And really, on my reference, it's really kind of around the feet. So I'm backed way off. I'm just gonna start kind of tinting some of the skin to give it some other tones. And this will tie into the base a little bit too, and I go to do the base because I'll weather the feet a little bit. That's some dirt and stuff. The feet. Yeah, this is giving me the effect I want. I'm also going to do some browns and some other tones, so that's looking pretty good. It's super light. And I got a little bit of this on the knees. A little bit on the hands. Not sure that's showing up on camera. I'm back way off. Very subtle. Do some on the elbows. It's kind of just missed it on here and there. Dramatic on the hands. I'm not sure who painted the reference I'm looking at. But we both picked the same kind of guide. So I'm just gonna kind of go with what they have, and it's not gonna look exactly the same, but it'll look similar. It looks like they just kind of misted this yellow on everything. Which does give the skin a nice kind of, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Kind of nice, worn, aged look. I was going to do that. I'm just going to kind of mist it real light on everything. Again, back way off, about a foot away. I like it really heavy on the hands. That looks good.
think I may go with a little brown too. I think that's a brown wash here. Kind of hit the feet pretty heavy. Yeah, the horns will need some work, that's okay. Then back way off. Kind of missing this yellow on them. Okay, I'm kind of digging that. I don't want it green. Do I have a brown? I thought I had a brown. Dark yellow, gray, maroon. Okay, what's this? Dark brown. I'm going to do a little bit of this. Kind of the shadows a little bit again. Just a little bit here and there. Some tonal variation. I love airbrushing the washes on. You got a lot of great subtle subtle tones going on. So we're just tinting the skin a little bit here and there. You hit the feet pretty good, especially towards the bottom where they hit the base. Help ground them. I think I'm just about there with the skin. I'm not sure what else I could do to it. Maybe go in selectively. Alright. I'm out of the browns, that's all I got left, so just use it up on this guy. Okay. Okay, on there. Never find the hole that I drilled for the peg. Ah, it's fine. Okay, so that's it for the brown. I'm out a lot of that. I wish I had a little bit more of that. I can mix them up, but this is like the perfect consistency and tone. It's really good just kind of hitting the overall shadows with the brown. Okay. What else do I got? I don't want to do any red oxide. That would be too orange. I have something I can use in place of that. Looking for a definitely kind of. What's this? No. Those are enamels too. No, just. I think we're looking pretty good on the skin. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to seal this again, and I'm going to work on the horns and paint the eyes. And I think he may be done. I'll take the silly putty off, and I'll touch up the edge around the face, and we'll take a look at it. So let me do that, and I'll come back. Okay, so after I sealed it, after doing the kind of misting on the yellow and the brown, it kind of went away a little bit, so I went back and I added a little bit more yellow and the brown. And then I went ahead and did the horns. I used my dark pastel mix that I came up with, and I just kind of hit them real heavy with the pastels. And then I sealed it and then dry brushed on grays and whites and stuff and brought it up, and then kind of hit it with that yellow wash. So now the skin is done. I'm real happy with that. I'm going to take the silly putty off the face, and we're going to get a sense of what this looks like now. And then we're going to, I need to let this dry a little bit because I've got a pretty good coat of sealer on here. I need to let it dry for a good maybe 15-20 minutes. And what I got to do now is I got to clean up any silly putty. There's a lot of paint, so I'll go through and I'll touch up this edge where the rhino skin meets his face. So I'll take a toothpick and clean up this silly putty. His face has been cured for, let's see, when did I do that? Did that Saturday or did I do it yesterday? I can't remember. I think I did it yesterday. You know what I'll do for this edge, I'm just going to go in there with a really dark gray. And that'll tie this all together. Getting the silly putty out can be a challenge sometimes, especially when it's really thin. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now we get kind of a sense of what this looks like with this skin tone and the rhino skin. It looks freaking awesome. Okay, so while this sealer dries a little bit, I can go and paint these eyes. And again, I'm just going to do a, actually, I think I might just do what I got over here. Let me just layer on some transparent brown. This is transparent cocoa brown from GarageKits.us. This may not be dark enough. Oops, too much. Maybe if I do that with a little bit of, I've got some transparent smoke, which has got some some brown in it. Yeah, it's just too transparent. I'll have to go in with that opaque color, I think. Do that. So let's do this. Let's go in with some jet black. Actually, what are transparent jet black? It's black, green, jet black. Yeah, okay. I'll have to go with that opaque color. So what I'll do is I think I'll go with this number 7 gray. Which is almost black. There it is. Boom, just like that. And then gotta get out some of that excess paint. Where is there? Looking for. I'll have the Q-tip. You need a paintbrush to soak up the excess. You just take a paintbrush and touch it to an area where you got too much paint, it'll soak it right up. Yeah. Making a mess, which I don't want to do. So that's what we'll do on the other side. And hopefully we won't make a big of a mess of it. I sculpted a little bit deeper than the other one. Turn my brush. Can't see what I'm doing, there's no light on it. Yeah. And this side looks good. Got a little bit, kind of overflowed a little bit here. I'll just wipe it up. Damn Q-tip. Alright. Those look good. Alright. I put a glove on. Let's do those had a few minutes to dry. And I think I can go in with this kind of transparent dark gray mix I got going on around the outline of the face. Let's see. So I got a little silly putty in there.
gray. It's really hard to see. The camera's blocking all the light, so that's why I can't see what I'm doing. This is one reason why it's hard to do these videos. It's hard for me to get where I gotta be able to see and show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna go around this edge like this and outline that with this kind of really dark gray, and then I'll tie that all together, I think, nicely. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that and I'll come back. Just can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so with glossing of the eyes on the Rhino part, the Rhino figure is done. He looks really, really good. I couldn't be happier with him. I think he looks awesome. There's a lot of subtle tones going on and stuff in here. I'm not sure if you can see it in camera. The yellows and the browns, the gray, the warm grays, the cool grays. Looks really, really slick. So I thought that would take me longer today, so I'm going to work on the base. So I think I'll call this work in progress done, and then I'll upload all these at some point. I still haven't uploaded the other two on the portrait yet, so or the other one on the portrait. So I'm going to call this work in progress done, and then the next one will be the base. So stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for watching. I'll start recording the next one right now.